The last few days have been such heavy rain, and as much as it's not the greatest having so much rain and everything is cold and wet and always struggling just to warm my body up, I've found a way to just stay in tune with the rhythms of Mother Nature and of my body, and I've just been invited to slow down. I'm currently in the luteal phase of my menstrual cycle, and this is the phase of my cycle where I like to really embody my feminine energy and take time to slow down, pay attention to my thoughts, and really just sit in each moment and enjoy it to the fullest, and take note of what's going on inside, take note of what's going on in my body, in my heart, in my soul space, in my mind, and just tend to my internal world. It's such a beautiful practice to be able to slow down and listen to what's going on inside, because for the most part we are always busy, we are always focusing on the next thing to do, the next place to be, the next meal to cook. And so this phase of my cycle is such an important time for me to ground and to connect with nature, to connect with myself, and also just take note of how I'm feeling in my entirety, because I'm basically coming towards the end of a cycle and about to start a new one. Boy. These are all the supplements that I take to help me manage my PMDD symptoms. PMDD stands for premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and I think to know if you have it, you have to check off at least 3 of the 5 symptoms for 2 period cycles. So I've been tracking my cycle, I think, for about maybe a year and a half or maybe longer. Towards the end of last year, I felt that maybe I have PMDD, and basically there's a whole number of symptoms. Let me actually just Google quickly here. Okay, so there's a number of physical symptoms and also emotional or psychological symptoms. So common things are things like mood swings, depression or feelings of hopelessness, thoughts of suicide, intense anger and conflict with other people, tension, anxiety, irritability, and no interest in your usual activities. So that's really the best way I would describe it, because there's PMS, which is premenstrual syndrome, and that's usually just like very basic mood swings, or you know how you usually get before your period. So it doesn't have so much of the mental aspect where you really don't feel like yourself and you have terrible life-ending thoughts or just very dark thoughts that run through your mind. Like, that's kind of how you'd be able to differentiate. So there's also a lot of physical symptoms, like excuse me, jeepers, like sleep problems, fatigue, a lot of crying, paranoia, poor self-image, appetite changes as well, cramps and bloating, breast tenderness, headaches, joint or muscle pain, hot flashes, constipation, nausea, vomiting, pressure in your pelvis, backache, acne, skin inflammation and itching, and also flare-ups of other skin conditions you might have, as well as dizziness. So there's a lot. Fainting, easy bruising, a fast beating or fluttering heart. That's crazy because actually last night my heart was fluttering and I was kind of just observing it, and I didn't think too much of it because it happens to me sometimes. But that's interesting because I'm in my luteal phase now, and this is when my PMDD symptoms happen. So very interesting. And then muscle spasms, swelling in your ankles, your hands, your feet. I definitely get swelling in my hands, like my fingers. Weight gain, peeing less than usual, allergies, infections, vision changes, eye infections, less coordination, lower sex drive, food cravings. So there are so many things, and so for you to know if you have PMDD, you need to have at least three to five of these symptoms consistently for at least 2 period cycles. And I must say that it's definitely been very hard on my mental health, because every month is different, and so I'm still working through it. But so to go back, end of last year, I was like, I think I might have it, just because my mental state was really not normal, and I just felt like I wasn't myself. So it's one of those things where, like, if you experience it and you know it, like, then you know how severe this thing is, but because from the outside it really doesn't look like much, but internally so much is happening. So yeah, those were really my main symptoms, or have been, just mentally really struggling. And yeah, then also fatigue, very intense fatigue. I'm still working through the fatigue aspect. Pain in my joints, and then, well, also heart fluttering, because I saw that now. I had that yesterday, and possibly also the day before. And then what else? I think those are like the main ones for me. Also during our luteal phase, we produce less collagen, so we are more prone to pain in the joints. And also my boobs get very sore, which they haven't been this time around, and I think that's due to the magnesium that I've been taking. So there's a lot of things that I take, and I just started on this cycle, so I can say, I mean, my luteal phase will be ending soon in the next couple of days, but I can say that there's been a huge difference mentally. Mostly I've been able to still keep a routine and still do my everyday activities, because that usually goes out the window, and all I'm able to do is literally sleep, eat, and like very basic tasks. Yeah, and that's kind of it for like 2 weeks out of the month, which is half of the month, which is really, it's crazy. So I've been taking this. I'm gonna actually just write everything on the screen, because there's so many different things and they have different purposes. But for my joints, I take this supplement, and this has really helped. My knees, my lower back were really sore this time around, and it's been like, I think 5 or 6 days, and I've seen a huge difference with that. And then I also take my hormone balance supplement from Kiko Vitals, and there's a lot of really good, very key ingredients in here. It's all natural, which is amazing. There's magnesium, there's vitamin B, there's red raspberry leaf, ashwaganda, chasteberry, like so many very important ingredients that we need to have in our bodies during this time especially. And then zinc. Then I also take iron, and then I also take a vitamin B supplement, even though I do get a lot of the B vitamins from the hormone balance. I make sure just to check the dosage and just ensure that I'm not taking too much. So there's very small amounts. There's like 1 milligram of vitamin B5 in here, 3 milligrams of vitamin B3, so it's not a lot. And so I don't think there's B12 in here. Yeah, no. So I do take a B12 supplement, and this has helped so much with my energy levels. Like, usually the fatigue is like beyond belief. Like, it's so hard to explain, you know. You'd only really know if you spend time around me or if you live with me, like how exhausted I get. So I have been tired, but I would say this time around it's been like 40%, whereas usually it's like at an 80 or a 90, which is insane. And then magnesium, like I showed you, and then I also take calcium. So this entire combination, along with lifestyle adjustments, like I still exercise. That's another thing. Just the inability to exercise or even think of exercising. That's kind of what happens every time I enter my luteal phase, and this time around it hasn't been the case. I've been able to exercise still every single day, which is a huge achievement for me, because yeah, it really can get a person down, and I'm just so happy that I'm figuring it out, because it's not like these symptoms just disappear, or you know, we don't, as women, we won't have a luteal phase anymore. Like, it's always going to be there and it's always going to happen. And so yeah, I guess just learning and understanding my body and understanding how to support my body and not work against my body. So lifestyle changes, like exercise, and then meditation, sleeping, just regulating my sleep, making sure I'm getting at least 8 hours of sleep. That's really helpful, because then my circadian rhythm is regulated and I'm able to just continue this routine that helps me. What else is really helpful? Also going outside. The weather's been absolutely terrible the last like 8 days, and today is our first day of like sunshine, which is really nice. So getting outside and getting some sun on my skin is also really helpful. And I think also that's why my vitamin D supplement, this calcium, because it's got calcium as well as vitamin D in it, and vitamin D we get from the sun, but the last couple of days have been completely overcast. It's been storming outside, so this supplement helps me to get that vitamin that I'll be missing from, you know, the sun itself. I think also just having good support, you know, sharing it with, if you do feel like maybe you have PMDD, sharing it with the people around you, those closest to you, and letting them know about how this affects you. Also the people that you work with, it's very important for them to know, so that they can see how they can support you, you know, because a lot of this actually is more on the mental aspect. Like, that's the hardest part in my opinion. I feel as women, physically we endure so much, so the pain aspect isn't really that, like, you know, it's not that detrimental, like the lower back pain, or like my boobs being sore, or the headaches also that I get. It's another symptom I forgot about, headaches. Oh my goodness. That aspect isn't as bad as the mental aspect. Like, that part is really tough, and so finding a way to get support, you know, so either by going to therapy or sharing it with the people around you, journaling about it, or even just finding other people who are talking about this. So like maybe my channel, for example, because this is something that I live with. It's not like it's going to disappear. But what really helped me was finding a lot of creators who have shared their story and like how they deal with it, or what supplements they take, or you know, just how they've been able to like manage this. And so yeah, I will mention some creators who I love, who also really helped me, because it's almost like a support group, and that was really helpful, to feel seen and to feel like I'm not crazy for going through this every single month, you know, because it is what it is. And if you track your cycle, then you'll know of all the different phases, and how we start in the menstrual phase, then we go into follicular, then ovulation, and then luteal. And in some weird way, I'm starting to actually enjoy my luteal phase now, because I'm starting to understand my body more and how to support myself more during my luteal phase, so that it's not like I'm dreading this time, because it's 2 weeks of the month and that's half the month, you know. So yeah, these are the things that I take. And that's also why I wanted to make this video, because yeah, connecting to your womb during this time is so important, and this is one way that I do so, also through womb meditations, and also just through finding more stillness in my days and more time to connect with my breath, or connect with myself, or connect with the present moment. It really does help, because this is the time in my cycle where I rely more on my feminine energy, which is all about surrender. It's all about being just, you know, relaxing, and when my period comes and I move into my follicular phase, then that's when the masculine energy kind of kicks in. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. If you resonate with what I'm talking about right now, just know that you're not alone. It is very scary, but there are ways around it, and you just have to keep trying different things and seeing what makes a difference and what works for you. But just know that you're not crazy, you're not like imagining this. It's something that happens hormonally, and it is what it is. So let's rather just find like a way to work through it, and a way to just enjoy being in our bodies again, and enjoy the different phases of each cycle every single month, because it's actually a very beautiful thing once you become in tune with the rhythms.